Hi, it's John here from GPS Training. Welcome to the latest Walk and Talk. Today we're in the Lake District. I've just got a lovely evening walk. So I've just been delivering a GPS training course at Mungrisdale in the Lake District. It's just coming to 6 o'clock. We've got, two and a half hours of daylight. I'm just going to go for a quick 5 or 6 mile walk to put the Garmin GPSMAP 66s through its paces. Now we're doing quite differently on this one. I've had a few people on YouTube rightly saying, have you used the TalkyToaster maps? What do you think of the TalkyToaster maps, which is an alternative for the Ordnance Survey Map card? So what I've got on this unit is some TalkyToaster maps. So I'm going to analyse both the GPSMAP 66 and also, or 66s rather, and also these TalkyToaster maps and give you an honest, impartial opinion on what I think of them. So what do we need to do before we start our walk? We need to quickly just plan that route. Are we going to plan it on TalkyToaster maps, or are we going to plan it on Ordnance Survey free route planning software? Let's have a quick look. So before we go on our walk, we need to just quickly plan it. Now we could plan it in Garmin Basecamp utilising the TalkyToaster maps, and this is what they look like within Garmin Basecamp. So you can see the yellow is the open access areas, which we're going to be on a lot on this evening, and then we've got our normal paths around here. It also shows the bridleway slightly different, as we can see there. So what we're going to do from Mungrisdale, we're going to come up here, walk up here, but what you'll see is on the TalkyToaster map, it shows everything as this red dotted line, whether it's a footpath or just a track on the ground. Now because we're on open access areas, that's less relevant, so we're going to come down here, and if we compare this with the Ordnance Survey map, hopefully you'll get a grasp of what I'm trying to show you, and then we come back down, and this is the bridleways where we're going to come down there. So it's great, and we could utilise that. But if we've got Ordnance Survey mapping, is it not quite a nice feature to actually see where our true rights of way are? Now on our website, if you go to gpstraining.co.uk, which is our website, and click on OS Planner at the top, it takes you to this, which is our free Ordnance Survey route planning software. If you're looking for an area, you can just put in the search box there and search for, in our case, I searched for Mungrisdale, and now I've centered the map on Mungrisdale. And you'll hopefully see what I mean here from what I was talking about. This is where we were starting off, and this is where we are starting off. This is the right of way coming up here, but you'll see that now we're on actually just tracks that are on the ground. They're not rights of way. On that TalkyToaster map, it's showing exactly the same. And then we're going to come back down this way and back down that bridleway. So just because I've got the free Ordnance Survey route planning software and I'm used to seeing the Ordnance Survey mapping, this is how I'm going to plan it. And on this, all I need to do is every time there's a major corner in the path, I just click and just start creating that route. So you can see it's just 5.67 miles in length. I'm just going to type Mung evening from Mungrisdale evening walk, 5.67 miles. I climb 494 meters and I descend at 501 meters. A quick look at all my waypoints, 46 waypoints is that complete route. And I just press download GPX and it downloads its download section. Now all we need to do is paste that GPX file that we've created into our Garmin GPS. Now, because I'm using a Mac, I'm just going to go to Finder. Again, if you're a Windows user, you would just go to Windows Explorer, and you just need to look in your download section, and you'll find that GPX file there. I'm literally going to right-click and copy that GPX file. I'm then going to find my Garmin GPS, which we're going to be showing as an external drive. Again, it's exactly the same as a PC and a Mac. And what you'll find within that is when you look at your Garmin for the first time, you'll see you have a folder called Garmin. Within that folder called Garmin, there's another folder called GPX. Okay, so that's the GPX folder there. We literally just right click and we paste the item into that GPX folder, and there it is appearing. So there's a GPX file within the GPX folder, within that Garmin folder on your Garmin GPS device. So all you need to do now is unplug your GPS device and just check it's on there. Just press find, select routes, we're using the 66s, and then we'll know it's there, ready for the start of the walk. So before we go, we've got to load that route into our Garmin GPSMAP 66s. We've also got to reset our trip and track data. I'll quickly show you how we do that. So before we go, we need to do two things. We need to reset our trip and track data. So on the Garmin GPSMAP 66s, just press the enter button down the bottom. As long as that's 0.00, we just press enter again, and that starts recording the track, which is the breadcrumb trail our GPS leaves behind us. If you just press the enter button quickly again, you'll see it's actually now starting to count up, which tells us it's actually now out recording. I'm just going to press the quit button to come out of that. Next thing we need to do is just load that route. We just press the find button, come along to routes at the top. There's my walk, which we've just planned, the Mung evening. Just press enter on that. Just take a few seconds to load up. There it is, 5.7 miles, and it's overlaying it on that TalkyToaster map. So just press the enter button down the bottom, and then that's navigating us. So as we can see with the electronic compass, when I turn it around the other way, all we need to do is follow that arrow. And again, there we are on that TalkyToaster maps. Again, I'll give you a bit of an update once I've been walking with it a couple of miles and give you a good, honest opinion with it. When we're navigating, we can either navigate on that map page with the compass rose at the top, or alternatively navigate on that compass page and follow that big blue arrow. So let's follow that arrow. The Garmin GPSMAP 66s really did take the world by storm when it came into the market a number of years ago. It was the first button GPS unit with a 3-inch screen. Before that, all the button GPS units used to have a 2.6-inch screen. So for once, it came out with the same size screen as its equivalent touchscreen unit, which at the time was the Oregon 700. The key thing though with the 66s, it was the first GPS unit to utilise the Galileo, the European satellite, and also it was the first one to connect with the Connect app and enable to send and receive what became courses via that Connect app, so taking the PC and Mac completely out of the equation. It also runs on AA batteries, so those are people who prefer that way. It's not very hungry on batteries. You can change those batteries, so if you want to do ultra events or multi-day activities, this is a really good unit because you can just change those AA batteries when you're out in the field. So as we've climbed to the top of Bowscale Fell, as you can see, the weather's taken a little bit of a turn for the worst, but hey, it's the Lake District and it's September. Behind me is a stunning Blencathra, one of the most iconic mountains in the Lake District. If anyone's drove along the road to Keswick, you'll see Blencathra up to your right hand side, and that's what we can see behind us on this lovely evening. Now the TalkyToaster maps are proved really good. I enjoyed them. We're on open access areas, it's got those permissive paths that are marked on them as well. The only thing that I'm missing a little bit, it's not so much Bowscale Fell. I've had to get my Ordnance Survey Map out to look exactly what the area is called. So again, it's not got as much detail on those factors as we have with the Ordnance Survey mapping. But hey, what great value for money for them. A really nice digital map. Because we planned and we're navigating a route with this Garmin GPSMAP 66s, it's really quite nice. As we hit those waypoints that are created on the free Ordnance Survey route planning software, I get an audible beep as I hit them. So to be honest, I've just got my GPS on what's called a backpack tether. Really big fan of the backpack tether, which attaches it to my rucksack strap. And you can see it just sits on there with Velcro. It's got a cord on as well, so if it accidentally falls off, it's not going to leave my rucksack. And I'm just getting that audible beep every time there's a junction. So again, it's just confirming that I'm en route. Again, it's not a massive walk. I've walked the area before, so I kind of know where I'm going. But it's just nice to have that reassurance beep as I hit the waypoints. I know I'm on the correct route. And again, alternatively, if I'm a bit unsure, I can just pull my GPS off my backpack tether, look at the screen. I've got my compass rose at the top, tell me the direction I need to go walking in, or alternatively, I can be navigating what we call the compass page with a big arrow on it, which tells me at what time I'm going to get to the end of the walk and other such info. So that's kind of the navigation experience that we get with, well, any GPS map series GPS unit. And yeah, it's however we plan the route, we're always going to get that same navigational experience. So before we drop down to the valley bottom, we'll have a quick look through the pages and also the TalkyToaster maps on this Garmin GPS unit. So this is our compass page, which tells you the speed we're walking at, distance to your next waypoint, ETA of destination, and time to next waypoint. And we've got the compass rows here, the arrow pointing the direction. It's got an electronic compass in it, so you can see as you rotate it, it will rotate accordingly. Now to navigate on this unit, you can either press the page button, you can see the pages scroll across the bottom, or alternatively press the quick button and they go the opposite way. So press the page button, and off the compass page, we've got the trip computer page. That tells us how far we've from sea level, how far we've walked, distance next waypoint, ETA of destination, moving time, time of day, stop time, etc, etc. Now all these are changeable. We can then change these by pressing menu and then change data fields, and we can change all those data fields accordingly. Next page we've got is the elevation page, which shows you that we've done our climb and we're dropping back down to the valley bottom to finish off the walk. So again, we've got most of the climbing out of the way this evening. Satellite page, again, just gives us the 10-figure grid reference, accuracy of the GPS unit, 8 feet. That's not bad going really, is it? And they say it's picking up both the GPS and also the Galileo as well. So there's the Galileo and there's the GPS. So that's the American and the European satellites that is picking up. Map page. Now this is the one we're interested in, the TalkyToaster map. So you can see it's got the yellow because we're in the open access area. So it's got the compass rose at the top, which gives the direction. This is where we're dropping down to, and you can see the route marked there. So it's really nice. It's got the contours on there, which are nicely marked, and these are the paths. Again, if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see we're actually dropping down to, remember earlier on that bridle way that we saw on the map here, but this is the footpath. These are all the waypoints. Now if I want to get rid of these, I could convert this into a track and get rid of all these dots, but then we won't get that audible beep when we hit the waypoint. So lovely and clear. Nice thing about these TalkyToaster maps is it's a proper digital map. So as you zoom in, it stays clear, doesn't it? Where an Ordnance Survey map would tend to go pixelated. You can actually see the accuracy here. This is where I planned the route on the Ordnance Survey map, but this is actually where the path is on the ground. So it's actually more accurate than what the Ordnance Survey maps were of exactly where they are. But again, really nice clarity of that. I'm very impressed with that. I suppose we could compare it to the Ordnance Survey map. This has still got the Ordnance Survey maps on here, so we could just go on to map setup, configure maps. I could turn on the East of England, turn off the TalkyToaster maps, turn on that one, and when we go back there, we should get in a second the Ordnance Survey maps. There you are. So that's the Ordnance Survey maps. So we can see the difference here. A little bit, you've not got the clarity that we do. So when we zoomed in, you see it does go a little bit fuzzy because it is just a scanned image of a paper map. But we've got the names that we're missing before on the TalkyToaster maps. As you can see here, as we come down, we've got the Tarn name here. When I get to to zoom in, Bowscale Tarn it says, and we've got that's now 1 to 50,000. As I zoom in, it goes back to 1 to 25,000. So you can see there's benefits of each of the mapping. Again, this is the open access area. You can see the yellow on there as well. So that's the Ordnance Survey mapping. And if we just go back, we can just go back to map setup, configure maps. Switch the TalkyToaster back on, switch that back off, just take a few seconds, and let's see it jump back to the TalkyToaster map. Again, a lot more vibrant, colours better. Again, we've lost a little bit of the detail of the names of places, but again, when we zoom in, it keeps that clarity, and that's the big difference between that and the Ordnance Survey map as well. What other page we've got? Back to the compass page, which we were on before. Now to get to the main menu page, if you just double tap on the menu button, takes you back to your main menu where you've got all your other settings as well. So what I'm going to do is just jump back to that compass page, and I'm going to follow that arrow, and hopefully it's stopped raining, the waterproofs are off, and we've got a few miles ahead of ourselves, and hopefully we get back before it goes dark. As we're dropping down, we're starting to lose the light a little, but what a stunning walk it's been. It's a lovely evening walk to finish off a great day after we've been GPS training. We do 2-day Garmin GPS training courses all over the country, from the South Downs, New Forest, all the way up to Scotland and everywhere in between. Just go to our website, which is gpstraining.co.uk, click on GPS training course on the top, and you can see the 2-day Garmin courses that we do throughout the UK. Now on those courses, what we do is we get you to grips fully with your outdoor GPS unit. So on day one, we assume you know nothing. We do the basics, basic terminology, how the GPS system works, and we kind of get the building blocks out. We learn what a waypoint is, we learn what a route is, and learn about the maximum waypoints on and track points on each of these tools that we're using. And then we go out and we do the basics of creating a waypoint with a grid reference, creating a waypoint using the map page, creating a waypoint on your current location. And then we do some bit of route planning in the afternoon, just on some free route planning software, and we go out and walk that route that we've planned on the computer. We then do what we call a track back. We say to GPS, take us back the way we've come. We can do a track back. We look at reversing routes and reverse some of the routes on the unit. And then finally on that day one, we look at how we can produce or create a route directly on the GPS unit. Really key fundamental things which will come in so useful when you're out in the hills. On day two, it's all about planning on Garmin Basecamp. So you sit in front of a laptop and we plan routes on Garmin Basecamp. Plan in using the route tool, we plan by putting grid references in, we plan by creating tracks, and then we learn how we can look at escape routes and do some basic good route planning. And then in the afternoon on that second day, we go out and put everything into practice. We go out and walk one of the routes we did in the morning, and then we start doing track backs, we start doing all the aspects that we've done over the 2 days and really test our skills. I can honestly say you will get to grips with your outdoor GPS unit. So just have a quick look at our website, gpstraining.co.uk, click on GPS training courses. You can either join myself, John, or Andy, my colleague, on one of these 2-day nationwide GPS training courses. So it's that time of year where we finish off the walking talks in the vehicle because the sun has gone down, so we can see now it's gone into night mode. That GPS unit, we're back now at the band. So what we need to do is we need to both stop navigating that route, we need to save that track as well. So we just press the find button, which is down here, find, and we just go to stop navigation. And you see now we lost the compass rose, which tells us that we're out of navigation. Now all we need to do is press the enter button, the bottom right hand button, press enter. And you see, there's our track that we recorded, 2 hours and 43. You just press it again and we stop it. And it brings up the information on the track. So we can see the date, time is 8:30 or just after 8:30. Time that we've been walking, distance 6.13 miles. Moving points, moving average, again, over 1 to 2, I can bring back the ascent and descent, etc, etc. We'll come down, move across this little floppy disk, and we just save that there. And that's the track all saved at the end of the day's walking. Many thanks for joining me on the latest walk and talk with the Garmin GPSMAP 66s. If you can like and subscribe on YouTube, that would be very much appreciated. If you have any thoughts or other things you'd like me to see in future walking talks, please do leave a comment in the comment box below. So whatever you're doing, enjoy your walking, and I hope this helped in some small way.